Think you're doing squats the right way? Chances are you're making mistakes that could silently sabotage your progress. Or worse, put your knees and lower back at risk. I know it sounds harsh, but the truth is, most people squat like they're just sitting down in a chair, without realizing how much power, stability, and coordination goes into a truly effective squat. Before we get into exactly how to do it perfectly, let's explore some common mistakes you've probably seen, or even caught yourself doing. First up, the classic knee cave. You know that moment when your knees start collapsing inward as you descend? Many people think it's just normal, but it's actually a signal that your hips and glutes aren't firing properly. Picture your knees as the hinges of a door. If the frame isn't aligned, the door won't swing smoothly and eventually wears down. That's exactly what happens to your joints over time when your knees collapse under load. Another mistake, leaning too far forward. You've seen it, right? People bending at the waist like they're bowing to the ground, heels barely touching and back rounding. It may feel natural, but your lower back is taking all the stress, and your quads aren't getting the workout they deserve. Think of your spine like the foundation of a skyscraper. If it's leaning or unstable, the whole structure is at risk. And then there's a shallow squat, the infamous quarter squat. Maybe you don't have mobility, or maybe it's habit, but stopping halfway down drastically limits muscle activation. Your glutes and hamstrings barely get involved, and you're missing out on the strength, stability, and growth you could be building. Here's the kicker. Even if your squats look decent in the mirror, tiny errors add up. Foot placement too narrow or too wide, toes angled awkwardly, chest dropping, or even shallow breathing can turn a powerhouse exercise into a riskier, less effective movement. And that's why mastering form is more than just copying someone on Instagram. It's about understanding the mechanics, your body's signals, and the connection between your muscles and movement. Now, here's a mini light bulb moment. Most people think squats are just for the legs. Wrong. Squats are a full body exercise. Your core, your glutes, your hamstrings, even your calves and upper back play a role. But here's where most miss it. They don't engage these areas consciously. Imagine trying to lift a heavy suitcase without bracing your core. You'd wobble and maybe strain your back. The same principle applies to squats. If your core isn't locked in, your power leaks and risk spikes. So how we fix this? That's where the intrigue comes in. I'm not going to hand you all the answers yet, because I want you to really feel the difference when done correctly. But here's a hint. It starts with your feet, your weight distribution, and how you cue your core and glutes. Small tweaks here will make the world of difference, but they're only effective when layered correctly, like building blocks. Start with the basics, then we'll add the intermediate adjustments, and finally, some advanced tweaks that even seasoned lifters often overlook. By the end of this video, you're going to see squats in a completely new way. You won't just be going down and up. You'll understand exactly how to control your body, maximize your strength, and protect your joints. You'll know the difference between sloppy reps and perfect execution. And the best part? You'll be able to feel it with every single rep, which is a secret to real, lasting progress. So here's a question for you. When was the last time you squatted and truly felt every muscle firing, every joint in alignment, and every breath sync with movement? If you can't remember, get ready, because we're about to change that, starting from the ground up. All right, now let's start rebuilding your squat from the ground up. First things first, foot placement. This is the foundation of everything. Your feet should be about shoulder width apart, or slightly wider if that feels more natural, and your toes angled just a little outward. Think of your feet as the roots of a tree. If they're unstable or misaligned, your whole squat wobbles, no matter how strong your legs are. Small changes in foot angle can dramatically change which muscles are activated. So don't just copy someone else's stance. Feel what works for your body. Next, weight distribution. A common mistake is shifting too far onto your toes. You want your weight balanced evenly across your midfoot and heels. Here's a quick test. If you lift your toes slightly off the floor while squatting, can you maintain balance and control? If not, you're probably leaning too far forward. Shifting your weight properly protects your knees and engages your glutes and hamstrings, rather than letting your quads take over entirely. Now, cue your core. I can't stress this enough. Think of your core like the rigid spine of a skyscraper. Without it, The whole structure is at risk. Before you descend, take a deep breath into your belly, brace your abs, and imagine creating a solid cylinder from your ribs to your hips. This isn't just for stability. It actually lets you lift more efficiently and safely. Some people skip this step, and that's when the dreaded lower back rounding happens. Chest and back alignment come next. Keep your chest proud and shoulders down, not shrugged. Imagine there's a string pulling your chest upward, while your shoulder blades gently squeeze together. This creates a strong, neutral spine. Many lifters bend forward the waist because their upper back collapses. But with proper posture, that forward lean vanishes and power transfers directly through your legs into the ground. All right, here comes the descent. The part most people mess up. Start by pushing your hips back, as if you're sitting onto a chair, while keeping your knees tracking in line with your toes. Don't let your knees shoot forward past your toes excessively. That's a common misconception about squatting deep. Depth is individual. It's where your thighs are at least parallel to floor or slightly below if your mobility allows, without compromising spine or knee alignment. Imagine lowering your body like a controlled drop of water. Smooth, precise, and steady, not crashing down with momentum. As you reach the bottom, your glutes and hamstrings should be fully engaged, core locked, chest upright, and knees tracking correctly. This is where most people feel awkward because they haven't learned to recruit all the muscles at once. But once you master this, every upward drive feels like you're pushing off a spring. Speaking of the upward drive, here's a mini light bulb moment. Don't just push through your toes. Press through your heels, engage your glutes, squeeze your core, and rise. Think of it as powering up from your center, not just kicking with your legs. Now, I've hinted at some tweaks, but haven't shared the advanced layers yet. Things like micro adjustments in ankle mobility, subtle hip rotations, and cueing the glutes at precise angles can make your squat feel effortless and explosive, but they only matter after the basics are solid. For now, focus on balance, alignment, and controlled descent. Here's a question to challenge you while practicing. Can you squat slowly, pause at the bottom for 1 second, feel every muscle working, and then come up without letting your knees collapse or spine round? That pause is like a mirror. You immediately see what's weak, tight, or off. And here's the exciting part. Once you nail this foundation, you're ready to layer on those intermediate and advanced tweaks that turn a good squat into a perfect squat. Now that you got the foundation down, let's take it up a notch. The basics are essential, but the difference between a decent squat and a powerful, injury-proof squat often comes from the intermediate tweaks. The little adjustments that really light up your glutes, hamstrings, and quads while protecting your knees and lower back. First, let's talk knee tracking. You might think your knees are fine as long as they don't collapse inward, but here's the nuance. Your knees should track precisely over your toes through the entire movement. A small inward drift is common, especially when your glutes aren't firing correctly. To fix this, imagine gently pushing your knees outward, almost like spreading the floor apart with your feet. It sounds weird, but this subtle cue wakes up the glute medius, the side glutes that stabilize your hips, and instantly improves balance and knee health. Next, ankle mobility. Many people can't squat deeply without their heels lifting, and the culprit is often tight calves or limited ankle dorsiflexion. A simple fix. Try a short ankle stretch before your squat, or slightly widen your stance with toes pointing just a little outward. Even a tiny adjustment in foot angle can give your knees the freedom to track properly and let your hips sink deeper, activating more of your posterior chain. Think of it like unlocking a hidden gear machine. The squat suddenly works much more efficiently. Let's talk core engagement, but at a deeper level. You already brace your abs like a skyscraper foundation, but here's the refinement. Create tension in your entire trunk, not just the front abs. Imagine tightening your obliques and lower back at the same time, almost like squeezing a balloon with both hands. This 360-degree brace prevents your spine from rounding and helps transfer force from your legs into upward movement. Many people cheat this step, and that's why even strong lifters sometimes feel lower back strain. Breathing is another underrated element. You might think squatting is just inhale down, exhale up, but there's more. Try the Valsalva maneuver, a controlled breath hold while descending, then exhaling forcefully as you rise. This increases intra-abdominal pressure, supporting your spine like a natural weight belt.